Welcome to the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, where we help you conquer the internet one video at a time. We cover everything from how to start a YouTube channel to how to make a video go viral. And now, here's your host, the one and only Dusty Porter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 323 of the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, the only and the best YouTube podcast that you need in your life, where each and every Friday, around 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I'm on time, and most of the time, crossing my fingers here, I am, you will have a new interview with a wonderful YouTube creator, and this week is no different. Couple of housekeeping things. Number one, if you haven't already, just subscribe to the show wherever you consume your podcast. That way you'll get notified each and every time I release a new episode. Also, would like to give a huge thank you and shout out to our sponsor, TubeBuddy. Through my analytics, I can see that a bunch of you this month have decided to take the plunge and check out TubeBuddy, and I know you guys will not be disappointed. I know some tools and treats that we have coming down the line in early 2023, and you guys are not going to want to miss those. So if you're looking for that one tool that can help you make your YouTube life easier, TubeBuddy is that tool, and with our link, you get to try it out for free for a whole month. 30 days, no requirements, no strings attached. Go check that out. Also, you can support us. Support us. Also, you can support us over at patreon.com/Dusty Porter. If you support us at the $5 tier a month or higher, literally less than a coffee at Starbucks, you get a shout out on one show a month. And we have a ton of new patrons this week. Silas Swaim with T1E Adventures, Joshua Griffin from the HVAC Guide for Homeowners, Stephen Reich, William Foley from Foley Divorce, David Stojic from the DIY HVAC Guy, James Adams from Easy Investing Income, Chase Shelby from Drone Buddy, Andrew Gibbs with Quick Tech Videos and Lesser Known Adventures, Corbin White, Into the Brick of It, Nathan Miller, Don Ceramic, Anthony Pizzuto, Matt Leidy, and Randy Engler. All of you guys have supported us now over on Patreon, and let me tell you something, I appreciate it. It helps us continue to do what we're doing here at a high level, and you also get access to our creator-only Discord channel where we talk YouTube shop all throughout the week. And again, it's just a way to support us here, and it's a great way of doing so. Also, we have a 5-minute Google form in our show notes. If you think that you or someone you know would be a great fit for the podcast, please fill that out or let them fill that out. And I would love to get in touch with them if I think that they would be a great fit for the show. I love doing this podcast. These interviews to me are the highlight of my week. I do sometimes 2, 3, 4 of them a week, and it never gets old because every one of them is unique. Today, I'm joined by 2 farmers, and they talk about their journey of starting a YouTube channel and documenting the daily activities they do on the farm and how they've grown the community in the channel and what it's meant for them. Again, just the uniqueness of these interviews is amazing. We continue to be the #1 YouTube podcast out there, and it's all because of you guys. So without any further ado, let's jump into this week's conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's conversation. Super excited today to be joined by not one, but 2 wonderful creators from the Farmer Hunt YouTube channel. I'm joined today by Ben, who is a first-generation poultry and cattle farmer, his wife, Nicole, and he have 2 boys, and they're expecting a 3rd any day now. I haven't talked to him in a couple of days, so maybe it's here. We'll talk about that if that's the case. And Eric is a 5th-generation poultry and cattle farmer. He and his wife, Carly, have a daughter and a son. Ben, Eric, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having us, Dusty. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Doing great, Dusty. Thank you for having us on today. We're a big fan of the podcast.
Well, the one thing about the show that I always say is my favorite thing is that I really enjoy the uniqueness of every interview. There's something different about every single interview. It's just it's so cool, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about the channel. A lot of things, a little bit of trivia here. I believe that you said, Ben, your brother is Sam Hunt, the country singer. I don't listen to too much music, to be honest, but I have recognized that name. So maybe we're talking to some famous folks here, and we just don't know it yet. So maybe you guys can relate to that, or some of you listening know who that is. That's super cool to see that kind of there notated there in our notes. But I want to start with Ben, and I want to ask you, Ben, tell us about the origin story of the Farmer Hunt YouTube channel. How did it come to be?
So I'm a first-generation farmer, which is not too awful common. And I kind of started the YouTube channel just to kind of show my journey getting into farming and kind of what I do. You see a lot of these multi-generational farmers on YouTube and these huge farms. And so I just kind of wanted to show the smaller aspect of the farming and just what we do each day. We raise chickens and cows, and then we also have farm to table beef. So it's just kind of a behind the scenes of my life and also Eric's life, and just showing a little bit of what we do.
And on that note, Dusty, as well, when Ben decided to start the YouTube channel, he started toting the camera around the farm, and I saw it more as a hindrance than a help. Now, I'd always been a fan of YouTube because if I have something torn up on the farm, piece of equipment, I will usually go watch YouTube and try to figure out how to fix it. But what I saw was I grew up in farming my entire life, and I didn't see that as a possibility that a lot of people would want to watch what we do, because being from a small town, staying around these parts, I didn't see that a lot of people would want to watch what we do daily. So one of the turning points for me is Ben started filming, and I would usually say, come on, we need to get this work done. Don't worry about the cameras. But when we started getting feedback, people would come up and say, hey, I really enjoy watching you guys. It started catching on with me that, okay, well, maybe people do want to watch what we're doing every day. So when I started getting that feedback, I saw the importance of it, and I really am passionate about what we do here. So being able to show that to more people made the YouTube channel make a lot more sense to me. So it has definitely caught on with me, and I want to be able to teach people through that channel.
So you were just a little bit more hesitant than he was as far as, kind of implementing it kind of at the beginning, but now that you've seen the feedback and the comments, and we'll definitely get onto that, it's kind of motivated you and kind of pushed you over the edge of, hey, you know what, maybe there is something here.
Exactly, 100%. I mean, we actually went out of town to a bull sale, and we were a couple of states away, and we had a guy to come up and say, hey, I really enjoy your channel. And I think from that point on, it was a turning point for me to say, okay, well, I have a platform now here available to me to show what we do to take care of these animals and to take care of our family, and, what our lifestyle is about. And to me, that's very important, and I'm appreciative to YouTube for that opportunity.
I love that. Now, I want to ask you to start with Ben. What would someone see if they went to your YouTube channel? Like, what's the purpose? Like, why did you decide to start uploading videos? What types of content?
So we started out, we work with cows and chickens. We grow chickens commercially. I have 4 chicken houses, and Eric has 4 chicken houses. And when I say chicken houses, these are, 30,000 birds per house. We can't do a lot of filming of these birds since we are contract growers, but we do film some of the process of what we do when we don't have chickens, from the cleanup and the setup and all that kind of stuff. So it's neat to connect with poultry farmers on that. And then we also work with the cows. Like I said earlier, we do farm to table beef. And so it's just kind of an extension of that to show, if people really want to see, where's my beef come from? How's it being treated? From the things like artificial insemination to calves being born to being weaned and worked, and, just all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of an all around view into our life.
I think that when I went last week and was watching some of your videos, I feel like over time you guys have become so much better at becoming storytellers. And telling the story of the farm and the different animals and the different jobs that you guys do on a day-to-day basis. Eric, how do you feel it has changed your perspective of your day-to-day work? Are you looking at things differently, thinking, oh, we could film this, or, oh, we could capture this process, or, someone would love to see this? How has that changed?
It has changed a lot. I think that's one thing that has brought in a perspective of me is to not assume that everybody understands what we do on a daily basis. And I do understand now through the comments that people make that, what we do is pretty unusual. A lot of people don't have the opportunity that we have to do the work we do every day. So a lot of times we get people that they'll comment, when they get off from their 8 to 5 job and go home, they kind of want to watch what we do during the day, and that's how they settle in for the evening. So that's one of the things that I do is try to figure out what we're going to film next. Usually I'm the one out there tearing stuff up, so I can tell Ben when to bring the cameras and film when we have an issue that we can fix it. People may just want to they may watch for the entertainment to what we're doing and tearing up and how to fix it, or people may actually be watching just like I used to watch to try to figure out how to fix it, because when we do tear it up, we try to show people how to fix those things. But one of the things that we concentrate on the most that we've agreed to since day one is to be as authentic as we possibly can. Mm-hmm. We don't script anything. We basically, our lives it's enough of chaos out there. We don't have to script anything. Just we bring a camera along, and we always want to maintain this channel as something that children can watch. I want it to be something to where you can put your child in front of the computer, click on our YouTube channel, and walk away and feel comfortable that that's something that you would allow them to watch. And that's very important to me. And to be able to show our story now and be on that platform is a blessing.
Now, I want to ask you, Ben, what are the things that you guys struggle with on the YouTube side of things? Like, what are the things that every day you don't look forward to and you're like, man, I wish we could get better at this? What are those things?
I guess our background in just the editing part, the filming, the audio, that's something that we're really trying to work on now to improve. But when we started out, we didn't have a clue what we were doing, didn't know what cameras to get. We're still trying to figure out, what's the best microphone, because with our work, we're not inside a room that's, in a controlled environment. We deal with wind a lot of times. And, when we're on equipment, you've got equipment running in the background. So trying to get it to where you can understand everything we're saying clearly in a video, that can be challenging, but that's something that we're working on all the time.
How about you, Eric? What do you think?
Dealing with the environment and being able to take a camera and do, and it's hard for me to explain, but a lot of times what we're doing and what we're working on, we don't have time to bring a camera out and film what we're doing, because, if you've got animals running around, you're trying to take care of them, you're trying to work animals, like it is frustrating sometimes. You're trying to get a shot and you're trying to video something for the viewers, but I'm also trying to make a living, and this is what I do for a living. I'm trying to be efficient at it. So that has been a constant hurdle for me to say, hey, okay, give me the cameras. I'm going to take them with me today, because I'm constantly thinking about what we've got to get done today and to be productive at that. And that is the biggest, single most challenge for me, is a camera in my face when I'm trying to get work done.
I love that. I love that. Sometimes it can be a distraction for the work that needs to be done. I love that. What is something that you know now that you wish you would have known sooner? Ben, we'll start with you, and then Eric will go to you.
Like I touched on, the quality of, the quality of just the videos and the audio, I think is very important. I used to concentrate a lot on 24-hour and 48-hour views. Now I'm more in the mindset of, this is not short term, it's long term. And so when I see that a video from a year ago is still picking up views, I would much rather see that than these great 24-hour numbers, I guess.
What do you think, Eric?
One thing that I wish that I would have known early that I know now I'm still working on is sound. My voice is different than Ben. Ben he speaks up really well. That's not natural to me. So, but when I watch other people's videos and I see the sound quality, then I watch our videos, I realize I've got to speak up. I need to, my mic has to be on. I need to do a better job with that, because that's not natural to me. And if I'm watching someone else's video and the sound is not good, I'm going to click off of it pretty quick. And so I think that is very important, no matter what type of YouTube channel you have, and I've heard this on your channel numerous times, and it is so true. Get your sound to be the best quality that it can be, because it'll take you a long way.
Yeah, I could not agree more with that. It's funny you talk about your voices being different, just your presentation style. When you're working with someone else, they're not going to sound like you, they're not going to look like you, and being able to I feel like you guys do a really good job of taking what both of you guys are good at and really hammering down on that. Like, Eric's good at, task A, B, and C, and the same for Ben, and you kind of split those tasks accordingly. And I do want to transition now into that. If you are collaborating with someone full-time on a channel like you guys are, what are some things that you can recommend for people as far as making it go as smoothly as possible? And Eric, we'll start with you this time and then go to Ben.
Sure. I think it goes back to do what you do best. And basically, for me on this channel, I add comic relief. I help poke fun at Ben a lot of times. And sometimes I'm the serious one, sometimes he's the more serious, but we like to poke at each other and make fun. I think that's one thing that makes the channel fun, is to feed off of each other. But I'm going to be completely honest. Since we've started this, I haven't edited one video. Ben does it all because he's a lot better on the technology side than I am. I just don't. I will help, in put an opinion in or something, but he does all the editing himself because that's what he's good at. I'm good at doing the work, going out there, finding stuff for us to film, and actually setting something up and saying, hey, I think this would be something viewers would like to see, and we feed off of that and go with that. So we do a good job of staying in our lane and doing what we do best. I don't interfere with his side, and he doesn't interfere with mine, and it works really well.
What do you think, Ben?
I think being authentic on camera, trying to be comfortable in front of the camera. It sounds very simple just to hold a camera up and be yourself, but there's something about when that camera is faced at you, you just kind of have to get used to that. And that's something we're still working on, but something we're getting better at. And like Eric said, I do most of the editing, but it's great to have Eric look over the videos, or, if I may get to a section in the video and be like, hey, watch this and, let me know what you think, or, do you have any tips on, what you think it should look like? And he may give me pointers or say, well, what about this or what about that? So it's nice to have somebody else that's kind of previewing all the videos before they actually are completed, just to kind of help make the best video we can.
I love that. Let's talk about monetization for a minute. It looks to me that you guys are obviously eligible for monetization and making money from the channel. Can you talk about how you're making money from the channel and maybe future plans that you have in regards to making money from the channel?
Yeah, so we are making money through AdSense. Our channel probably averages around $500 to $600 a month. We do see some variation there, but on average, that's probably typically what we see. We're obviously going to keep going on with that. We're also trying to work with some other companies. We've got a video that we're going to be doing probably next week. So there's a company that makes equipment for the poultry houses. And so we have worked with them. We're going to be doing a video with one of their pieces of equipment. So things like that, working with other people has been really good. We also have an Amazon affiliate store that, we make a little bit on that, but hopefully long term, that's something we can grow with, and also just more branding, working with other companies.
I love that. Anything to add there?
Yes, I think one of the things that we're looking to for the future is taking some of that AdSense revenue and being able to reinvest it in the channel as far as people to help us with editing. We have a friend that actually works for Ben's brother that does a lot of his editing, and we're going to start working with him to help us with that, to take some of the work roll off of Ben, to be able to spend more time on filming and us getting the content there. And then it's like I said, let someone else do what they do best. Let someone else help in the editing side and just reinvest that money from the channel, because thankfully we don't have to have that, or we don't utilize that money outside of it. We just reinvest. So I think that's one thing that would definitely help the channel is, not that Ben doesn't do a good job, but I think that someone that does it every day, all day, they could really take our channel to another level.
So as far as like looking outside of YouTube to help you? You just touched on that for a minute. Have you guys done any of that yet, or is that something that you'd like to do down the line?
So that's something that's in the works right now. Like Eric said, we've got a guy that he's going to start editing, probably not all of our videos right away, but we may start out with once a month or something, and then hopefully transition into where we've got somebody just full-time editing. That way, we can move away from one video every, week or two to 2 videos or something, like, producing more content when when I'm not having to do as much editing. Because you mentioned it earlier, I had a baby on the way and she is now here. And so a lot of my editing I do at night, and having a newborn and doing video editing has been challenging for the last couple of weeks.
I could imagine. I have a 7 going on 8 and a 4-year-old. I remember those days. And we'd like to have one more ourselves. So I do understand and understand a lot of times. I tell my wife this and she doesn't understand. Some of my best work is done late at night, as far as like creatively and having ideas and things like that. So trying to manage that and manage time. And I think that's where I want to go next with this question. And I'll start with you, Ben. How do you guys manage it? You do have multiple kids, each of you, and you have spouses that you obviously want to have time and spend time with them. How do you manage a job, family, and the YouTube channel? What are some tips you could give folks?
What we have to do is just prioritize. So each day, there's a million things that can be done on the farm, but what we have to do is what's most important. And sometimes that's family related, sometimes it's farm related. Like I said, my daughter was born here a couple weeks ago, and we haven't had a YouTube video out since she's been born. And it's just one of those things that, luckily that can kind of be put on the back burner. I'm working on a video now and hopefully going to have it out this week. But, there's only so many hours in the day. You can only do so many things. And, so we can put some things aside and just pick those up when we can.
How about you, Eric?
One thing I think is very important in this whole operation is we're all family. So Ben and my wife, Carly, are actually first cousins, and our houses are about 75 yards apart. So if we're working and we're filming and the kids get home, they have a central location between our houses. It's a swing set up and a sand pit, and they actually run, and they're in the afternoons when they get home, they hail cousins and they kind of meet in the middle. So even though we're working these long hours and trying to do videos and the farm life and what we do, we're still with family. So that's one positive thing for sure about farming is we do not have to punch a time clock. So something that we may not get done first thing in the morning because we having to do family things, we may just have to work later that night. And but you're always with family, and that's one important aspect. Is I don't feel like my children go lacking from seeing our face because we're around the farm somewhere. Now they may have to go help us do some things, and they may be wanting to go back and play instead of work. But they're learning a lot of important values there, and that's a blessing every day to be able to work with family and collaborate like we do.
And one more thing I'll add real quick. We both are blessed with very supportive wives.
Yes.
So they both work full-time jobs, and my wife and I now have 3 kids. Eric and his wife have 2 kids. And so it just takes all of us to kind of keep everything afloat.
Yeah, it does. And what you said there at the end about having supportive family members, whether it be a spouse or a partner or a brother, sister, mom, dad, whatever, to me early on, and even like now, like even transitional phases and seasons of life, having that support as a creator, to me, is one of the most important things, because that support pushes you through the bad times and the low times, and it also gets you through the highs too. And so to me, that's a big thing to make sure that someone has going on early for sure. Both of you guys didn't have much experience with, video production, content production. I mean, you're both farmers, right? So what advice would you give people who are concerned that, hey, I don't have experience, or I don't know anything to start a YouTube channel? We'll start with you, Eric. What would you tell that person?
I laugh when you ask that question, because when we first started this, all I thought was, who wants to watch me on a video? I'm the most awkward person when you put a camera on me, and it does become normal after a while. When we first started filming, it was just, gosh, I was starstruck, I guess you would say. When the camera came out, I was just like a deer in headlights, and now it becomes normal, and I'm able to tell our story more. But even if you don't have any experience at all with the technology side, you can learn it. I've sit here and I've watched Ben do it, and I've learned a little myself. Is, there's tools now. You have an iPhone and go around and video what you do, and don't assume that people may not want to watch what you're doing, because that's what I did. And it's a lot easier to get involved and to get your story out there than what I originally thought. And get with someone, ask questions that can help you on how to get the things set up that you can. And if you have something that you think's interesting, I promise you there are other people that think it's interesting. They want to watch it. So don't be scared to step out there and try some things. I was very reluctant to start with because I didn't know the technology side and what I needed to know, but I was blessed enough to have Ben that was willing to try it and do it. And it has really grown to something that I didn't expect it to be. And I think we're at that point now to where it can grow exponentially when we put the effort into it and make the right steps. Mm-hmm. So don't be too reluctant. If you're thinking about it, do it, because there's very minimal cost in the startup. It doesn't cost much to keep going if you've got good content. And hey, it doesn't cost that person anything that's watching you. So worst case scenario, they click on someone else's video, but don't be scared to try.
Yeah, I agree with that. All of that's good stuff. I'm not going to add to that. You did a really good job there. And maybe, Ben, you're the best person to ask this question to. As far as the tools of the trade, like the editing, the filming, what are you guys using? Hardware, software, internet resources? What kind of tools of the trade are you guys using?
So right now, we're doing all of our editing on iMovie. I've been listening to several of your podcasts, and one thing that I really enjoy about it are people mention other things that they use, and I've heard of these other editing software, so I want to take a look at some of those. Everything's just done on a MacBook Pro. I started out actually with my wife's old Mac laptop, and I had never used a Mac before, so just learning how to use a Mac was a challenge in itself. And we used to, if we did videos on my cell phone, I had a little adapter that would plug into my cell phone, but the other end of it was a USB, and so I could transfer videos to the laptop that way. And so I finally upgraded to a MacBook Pro and have AirDrop, and so that's just been fantastic to have those kind of upgrades.
I love that. Eric, do you have anything to add there?
I would just say that you can, just like Ben just explained, you can start with little to nothing. And, we started with toting an iPhone around, filming everything before we got our cameras, and it was fun. And you look back on those videos, and yeah, they're rough to look at, but hey, you got to start somewhere. You're not going to start out. Professional baseball players don't walk out on the field for the first day, and that'd be the first time they picked up a ball. You got to start somewhere, and you just learn along the way, and you listen to other people, and you listen to podcasts like yours, and if you'll listen to those the areas that they struggled, and maybe what equipment they started with, and what not to use, and you just keep investing back in your channel and grow it organically, and it's pretty amazing what it can become.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, your story is inspiring. I love what you guys are doing on the channel. It's the reason why I do this podcast, is folks like you guys being willing to step outside of your comfort zone, because oftentimes it's thought that, well, you have to be a techie to be on YouTube, or you gotta have experience in film or production or media, and that is so not the case. Most of the time, in my experience, some of the most interesting and unique and fun YouTube channels happen from people like you two who have no experience in any of those things. You're farmers, and you're just letting us in on your day-to-day lives through this wonderful world of YouTube and video. And then you guys are obviously branching out to do, you have the website, and you have so many different things that you guys are doing. And so I really am excited to kind of the future of where you're going. So I do want to ask you, do you have any parting words for the folks listening to the podcast? I've told you exactly the target audience for the show. Is there anything that you'd like to say to those people? And we'll start with you, Eric, and then we'll end with you, Ben.
Sure. I just appreciate you guys being on a journey with us as we grow throughout. And we've got the freezer beef business. You can check that out at huntandloverncattleco.com. And we raise all of our animals ourselves on our farm, no hormones added, no antibiotics. And so that is growing with our channel. That's one thing that we kind of point towards is our farming, our products we try to put out there. And for you guys that are listening that have been hesitant about starting the YouTube, the best thing I can say is put one foot in front of the other and get out there and do it, because nobody's going to do it for you. Don't be scared of what the people will say if it's not successful. You've got to start somewhere, and you got to try and just get out there and start it.
Anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Eric. I go back and forth sometimes on our YouTube channel about, should I go back in some of those first videos, just delete them, because I'll watch them sometimes and almost kind of cringe at, the editing or maybe the video quality or just how awkward we were in front of the camera. But then I remember, it's part of the journey, and that's where we started. And, it's easy to be intimidated watching these YouTube channels with people who have 500,000 subscribers and, pay X amount of dollars to have these videos edited. But these older videos that we have, they kind of help show that, not everything's perfect, and kind of just show how things can evolve over time.
Absolutely. Guys, you have so much going for you. I cannot wait to see where you guys go in the future of the channel. I appreciate you joining me today, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks so much, Dusty.
Have a good day.
You've been listening to the YouTube Creators Podcast. We want to thank you and invite you to subscribe to the show, as well as support us on Patreon for great perks, such as having your YouTube channel featured on the show and a link on our website. Until next time, keep uploading those videos.